so much for being here on such a gorgeous day, too. We worked really hard on the show, and they wrote every single piece that's in it. And in the beginning of the year, we weren't so sure that this was going to happen. And, you know, confidence built up over time, and they became more and more proud of everything that they were doing. And so this is a very successful show. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you, all the teachers, parents, Mrs. Beaver, Ms. Bird, and all the supportive people in this room. We really appreciate you. Enjoy.
The angels were talking on a blue star, and the celestials were telling me you've been missing me. Said that slouch cloud overhead is in need of a twist, twisting out of past memories and evocations, cackling convoluted conversations. Stellar Nebula, the essence of our communication, was out of society. Unparalleled laughs that shot through every sound wave that surrounded us. We went against gravity every time. My teary-eyed sessions and personal neglect needed balance, and you were there, heavenly love. The heavens remember us. A constellation has been created with each star referencing a time light years away. Our past, our friendship nova soul, what I would give to live through galaxies if it meant we survived the explosion. Through all the clusters and cosmos, Virgo A, Andromeda, there was always a wish for you to find your way back to the Milky Way, friend. The saints were talking, and the divine messengers had me telling them, I've been missing you. They simply smirked and said, all beautiful things burn out eventually.
As a lonely star drifted only the dimmest trails against the nebula, it grasped a dream. The nebula, the other stationary stars didn't notice. A wish to help those who wished, a wish to be noticed. It scorched and burned through the other dreams it held to itself. Neither it nor the world's hands had the ability to cease its beginning, only the finale. It gave its all to fulfill the priorities of others, shining brightly among the stage. But no star believed in its dreams. They looked away toward themselves, their own wishes. When its dreams, now drained of the light from reaching its hands out, only held a small dart of stardust, it smiled. A person, a girl from Earth, pointed toward it falling. How beautiful. I bet you have tons of friends. Her voice sang aloud and made a wish. I wish I had that many friends. With will to give, the star reached its hands out once more. Even if it were a small dream, one that came from a misconception, it was worth chasing. I'll be your friend. At the cost of the final drops of stardust it had, the fire was sprouted. The stardust, once from itself, spread to the girl's sky like rain. It crept a message down her face, and she waited. No longer was it a star, but a transformative being. Its body, given a chance, was five-pointed, human. The only way for a star destined to die was to stay where it was purposed, beside a person as their friend, and an eternal life where its energy was least conceived, where seldom stars had their wishes granted.
Of the brilliant, jubilant minds sitting inside of pitiful, invisible individuals, sitting atop the catwalk, hiding in the shadows, who are now gently clipping in and out of existence, just waiting to fade peacefully into a heaven of oblivion, who made the difficult decision to make all of the easy decisions that brought them here, who give themselves colorful names like Eleanor Mordecai and Bigby Mackenzie as they put on a face for no one, who have not yet decided whether they are a senile muggle or pretentious mudblood, who see themselves in the freshly opened eyes of a kitten in a box alone in an alley, who sit on a bench by the river, tossing stones at their reflection, who kiss the head of their baby doll, tied to the withered string of the red balloon and watch it fly into the hands of the angels in the cosmos, who weep now that they can appreciate how little they appreciated as a selfish sprout, who have become so comfortable in their dreary little concrete corners that they mistake complacency for satisfaction and just decide to settle because they got nothing else to do, who only need to understand that they can make do if they decide to do right by themselves, who can think of no other way to do right than to be left in their makeshift pocket dimension as a hermit to the universe. Awful, 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 awful. Yet still so empty, 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 empty. Who repeat those words so many times to themselves they've lost their meaning to the endless series of swiping and clicking and flashing. Who are always finding but never searching for the key to unlocking the door to the room that would hold all of their pastel teenage dreams. Who were not told that they would have to bring their own paint buckets and pointed brushes, but cannot tell the difference between berry blue and pretty Persian until they're staring at a wall stained with dripping, oily splotches and realize this isn't what they were going for at all. Who do not seem to realize that either way, the paint hasn't dried yet, so they can't hang up their lights, and they'll have to sleep on the carpet of a room whose fumes take them on a trip they are not tall enough to go on. Who fall into a sleepless dream where they were sitting under a tree, and in its trunk there was a face that looks like everyone they ever knew. Who look at the face in the tree trunk to see the one who planted the seed, to see the one who laid down the mulch and watered it every day, to see the one who pruned its roots, to see the one who cleared away the other brush so the sunlight would be able to reach it, to see the one who wielded a chainsaw with the intent of making some furniture, to see the one who convinced them to lower the weapon, for they see that this body could be made into so much more. To see the ones who came together to cultivate it now have their faces on the figs swinging in the branches, who are happy to exist as the fruits of their labor, who are happy to spread their seeds to share and save the minds of the meaningless and introduce them to the metaphysical, who drop a faceless fig at the feet of nowhere men, who cut it open, who swallow the seed, who become part of Gautama's warm amalgamation as their faces blend on the bark and grow as figs swinging on the branches. Awful, 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 all full, all full, all full, all full, all full, and not so empty anymore.
If my face is still your face, despite the different name, if your roots are buried in my dirt, the skies we shared the same, if my roads have all been traveled with not one pair of feet, but two, do I continue on my own? Do I say goodbye to you? Must I lose your full-toothed grin, the pearls upon your neck? Must I lose the apron and the gown? Must I lose the curve of your back? Will I turn blind eyes to rosy peonies and forget the songbird's voice? Will my hands unlearn your gentleness? Will they find it easier to destroy? Does the peasant forget his misfortune when he becomes a prince? Will the memories of pain and past be lost in the eclipse? Will all you suffered leave me? Will it run clean like water? Will I feel the pain of childbirth? Will I mourn you like a daughter? But must I mourn a soul not dead? Your voice is alive and sweet in my head, for I am not a person new. You have always been me, and I've always been you.
Baby girl, if I got the chance to sit and speak with you, the first few moments will be held in silence. Out of my respect. I have to give my ode to you for everything I've put you through, for keeping me alive. And now, of course, we can use fate as an excuse, but I'm sure we can both sit back and reminisce on the times we could have let go. I'd give you a moment to speak and be heard, listened to, and understood, something which has never come easy to you. A moment to finally hear yourself think for once. And next I'd give you a hug where you are held together completely. A hug where if you let go, you will still be whole, a hug that feels like glue, where each of your broken pieces are snuggled tightly against one another, but not tight enough where you can't breathe. Baby girl, I'd let you breathe. I supply the ground, the dirt, the seeds, the grass, the green, the water, and the planet that helps it grow, and then I supply the sun that keeps it alive. I supply the force that takes over the air and calls her wind. Baby girl, give you all the oxygen in the world, call it your own. I allow you to cry. Erase all of your memories of people telling you that you couldn't, and to suck it up, and that you're weak, and that crying is for babies, as if years of emotional distress is not enough, as if memories of you digging into yourself is not enough, as if the constant feeling of suffocation from a place that is supposed to make you feel free is not enough. I'd allow you to cry for all the times you had to hold it in and swallow that thick sadness that stuck to your insides, clogged your throat, and came back up through your eyes and ears and nose and skin and everything in between, baby girl. If I got the chance to sit with you, I'd let you be. I'd be all the shoulders and tissues you always wished you had, the listening ear that was never available, the pit of my stomach will be a gaping well deep and empty enough for you to stuff all of your darkness into. My love, I know it was all too heavy for you to carry on your tiny back, so I take it. But of course, I'd ask you nicely because I know that is something you've never had either.
Despite no pixie dust for flight, I would float on endless youth and life. I would fly over Neverland and slide them in a rainbow. In a pot of gold, I bury my woes. TikTok crop would freeze in place. Sometimes when it blizzards was my sacred space.
Oh, remember how much fun we used to have back in the day?
How could I forget? So much fun being a kid.
Those were the days.
Oh my God. Remember us around the table?
Oh my God. Remember when I would, drive around with them keys? We would run all night just to moment to take the keys.
Remember Guzzler's 50 Cent hug? And that time we got ringers from touching bugs?
Wait, remember Miss Doyle? Oh my God, she hated us. She let everybody else pick their seats but us.
That lady was evil. Made me sit right in the front and her watching lazy eyes.
I mean, I would be mad too if I had two lazy eyes.
Oh my God. Remember we used to catch fireflies in the suburbs? We put fortune tellers and, pick a number?
Oh, those were the days.
Where did all that time go? We got grandbabies now. Ain't that crazy?
I know, and I can barely keep up with them.
I mean, we ain't no spray chickens, but come on, we can have fun. We still kicking.
You know what? Right. It's just something a little different today.
Because age is just a number.
Mm-hmm.
You, just a mindset.
Right.
We a little older now, but come on, let's run. Ready, set. Never mind. My back just cracked.
You crazy. I guess I'm staying and I'll go fetch you back in, okay?
We're the one now.
Okay. Back.
Although my knees might rattle, in spite of aging, I'll put up no battle. Or not even trying to. If I knew, I was about to grow old with you.
Oh, God.
I ain't clouded by the nostalgic haze, made me yearn for my younger days. I realized that, things have to change.
Like that wine you love, life gets better with age.
Peter Pan, now he was a lost boy, but I'm already found.
Yes, he was.
Your laugh keeps me tethered to the ground. So no, if I watch the show that I love you, I gladly climb the rainbow to get right back to you. So, goodbye, Peter Pan.
Goodbye.
My dreams.
Goodbye, boy.
It's like Wendy, Neverland could never hold me.
Now that was your best one yet. If two opposing sides of a being could speak to one another, what would they say?
You are nothing to me. All you've done is hinder the both of us with your presence. Keep us from becoming as great as we've always wanted. You are an animal who doesn't know anything. And you've brought that corruption to us in the form of naive lies. Lies that told us we could be happy right where we were. When what we really needed was cunning and a knowledge of how to use the tools we had at our disposal. You are the villain in our shared story. You know that? If I am the yang, that makes you the yin. And now that your voice no longer matters in how we form our decisions, our whole has reached its full potential and become truly good. Why do you think I've been trying to cast you out this whole time? I never liked you, really. What do you have to say for yourself?
You mean nothing to anyone. Why would you? You care for nothing for anyone except for yourself and your foolish goals. Not even for the person at the center of those goals. You only want to use them to make you feel better about yourself. You're a haughty, dishonest narcissist. It's no wonder you've been trying to cast me out this whole time. If you had actually listened to me for once, we could have followed another goal through much more noble and honest methods. Instead, I'm cast aside, directionless, helplessly watching and unable to stop you as you work for your own gain, sacrificing everything and everyone as you see fit. You have sacrificed much already, and it makes me wonder, where will it end? Will it ever end? Or will you keep dragging this out until you destroy both of us for good?
I'm the one who's trying to do what's best for the both of us. If you knew what was best for us, you would keep your mouth shut before you ruin everything. Though I am you, and you are I, we are not the same.
I am growing into the woman I am becoming. And there is not a day where you don't cross my mind. You were my first friend, the only one to help me fulfill myself. Whether it was playing Legos or comforting me while the tears drop, because if there's anyone that knows you well, it's me. Though you were really young and couldn't comprehend, I know your heart gave you all the understanding you needed. Whether it was dealing with the loss of your most prominent father figure or the constant misunderstandings of who you are. As I replay my visions of you in first person, I see you always felt alone. But because of who you were, you've always shown that light inside of you. Now, being my 18-year-old self, I struggle with keeping my light burning. Every day, I sit pondering, wondering if I failed you. And I live in constant guilt that you'd never forgive me. Yes, I know you think it's foolish of me because you gave out forgiveness like Halloween candy. Now, it's time to forgive ourselves. It's time to give yourself your flowers. The day I turned 18, I thought of you. I thought of the baby with the chubbiest cheeks, that little girl who was quiet and well-behaved, the baby girl that had a different mood in every picture. If you were to ask Mom, she'd say you were such a good baby. Everyone knew we turned out to be such a stunning young lady. As I look back, I realized that growing up was hard for as good as we had it. Due to that, my only wish is to hold you tighter. My only chance at healing who we were is to let all the years of built-up emotions go. It's time to let go of that resentment towards our dad, to be there for my younger siblings that need me. And if that person I once adored more than myself is gone, let her be. At times, I wish I could have helped you make smarter decisions and be resilient. Now your anger has subsided and peace is easier to come by. Just as I thought I was ready to let you go, I learned that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. You are my beautiful girl. And while we're playing hide and go seek, I'll ask around for you. Has anyone seen my beautiful girl? The one full of hope and simple happiness. Have you seen my beautiful girl, Gigi? And when I find you hiding under the bookcase, you'll learn that I fought off all the monsters so I can finally heal and you can continue to shine your light through my womanhood. Before I tuck you in for our final kiss, I remind you, remember, I always love you.
Not as he is my playlist.
Bro, you want to prove it? Listen, I got some people, bro. Everybody in this lunchroom will be jumping. Watch this, watch this. Alright, what you know about this? What you know about this song right here? You ready? That's how we eat. Okay, y'all like that, right? Okay.
I give it to you. It was okay. That was okay. That was okay.
That was fine.
I got something for you.
What you got, bro?
Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me see dogs. Let me see dogs.
You want dogs?
Yeah, let me see dogs.
You wasn't nothing like that first time. She was in my head first. Long hair, brown skin, with the flat hair.
I think that was the best thing you had on your phone. So I had to
play my music, but let's play some more. Y'all ready for some more?
All right. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Yeah, it do not matter, man. Turn the sides, okay.
Alright. That's calm. That's mid, I guess.
Mid?
You got more mumble?
Stop playing this. Hold that. You hear that at the party. You hear that at the party. Hey. Come Playlist is trash.
Alright, we're gonna ask something, bro. Who played more here so far?
Wait,
Bro,
wait.
come on.
Don't you rock her?
I didn't rap since freshman year, bro. I did not rap since freshman year. Come on.
Bro, he's scared. He's scared.
I'm
gonna be honest with you.
I'm not scared. Bro, he's a mumble rapper.
I'm not a rapper.
Come
I'm
on,
not a rapper.
come on, man.
Hold my neck. Hold my neck. Hold my neck.
Get a microphone.
What's up, everybody? We about to have a rap battle. Decide what's the world, what's better, lyrical or mumble? Make some noise, make some noise. Alright, in this corner, we got my man's Super Cold. And in this corner, we got my man's Cupcake. No script. Figure this out, but once and for all, it's going down right now. Take the mic, son.
I'm not a rapper. You go first.
Me first?
I'm not a rapper.
I said, Shaq, hold it down, hold it down. I said, his name Cupcake.
That's right.
Yeah, his name Cupcake ain't fitting. After this, I'ma treat him, crushing him like Dandelions pudding. No, Alright, this all came from an argument. And Cupcake came up to me asking to battle when he started it. So now, I'm pulling up rounds with my ornaments, no Rambo. You can never see me out with Cambo. Trying to teach y'all music is a key, that's piano. I said,
You trash.
I didn't want to do this because he said he's not a rapper.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper.
They want to call him Cupcake, so when I'm done, I'm throwing out the rapper.
I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. You said I'm 6 foot tall. And built like a tree. You look stupid because I'm 6'3". I sent this guy some bangers. Won't lie, you look like you needed it. You sent me your playlist, I won't lie, I completed it.
Wait, bro, you don't got nothing.
Cause I deleted it. Cheese steak platter. Salt, pepper, ketchup on the fries.
That's spicy.
Salt, pepper, ketchup on the fries. I'm wet. Can't see me. It's a surprise. Alright.
He's right there.
Like I said, it's a surprise. They call me Cupcake, but leave the sprinkles on the side. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper.
Hold it down, hold it down. I got something for him. I got something for Cupcake. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. What you got? I said, the point of this was for me to pay some homage to the legends. So if Cupcake had another mumble rap reference, forget it. You see, he tried to come at me, dissing me about my music taste. I won't lie, it's justified, but I got a story on why I try to leave with haste. You see, my mom, she liked to cook. She said, when I get home, have the steak out and the fish so she could fry it. But then she called me trash, so I couldn't sit in silence. Now I gotta pull up and cook this pastry like a hot pocket. And I don't got a lot of time, so everybody come stop watch this. How I'ma steak out and take Cupcake out while I wait watching. Y'all get it? Y'all get it? I said how I'ma steak out and take Cupcake out while I'm wait watching.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I eat that with a spoon. Grab me a telescope if I want wanna look at the moon.
Come on, Cupcake.
I put the batteries in the remote, cause I like to watch cartoons. SpongeBob, cause I like squares. What you watch?
Sometimes
Nobody cares. Party at my place. You not invited. I twinkle my toes when I get excited. I'm gonna end this man's whole career. Boom, bam, bow, bada bop, boom, pow. I'm not a rapper.
To my younger self, vuelve a mí, te necesito. Tú eres la que me pone feliz. Sin ti no puedo divertirme ni sonreír. Memories are hidden, fogged up in a layer of stench. The day you lost everything. You were only 8. A child's brain can't handle that trauma, so it made you forget. But it never really went away, though. The bodies of men were houses on fire. From afar, a warning signal of smoke appears in the air. And inside, ash filled your lungs. I wish I could have saved you, and I don't blame you for leaving. I love you. You had the prettiest unibrow, despite what they said. Don't listen to them when they tell you that your hair is too curly, it needs to be straightened. The hairs on your arm are normal. Stop shaving them every week. The pimple on your forehead isn't big. Don't pick at it. You say hola in a normal way, despite your stutter. I know you want to make your mom proud and speak Spanish to fit into the Latin culture, to have confidence in the curves of your hips, to speak up more when you were too quiet, to not feel like a burden. Or called a gringa because you speak English. You wanted to fit into the stereotype of being the loudest, prettiest, and bluntest in the room, and spent your whole life trying. I love you. You're the most beautiful girl, even if your mom didn't agree, or if the boys couldn't help but call you fat, or the older men who said you're mature for your age, or the ones that made you feel like a second choice. You had the most passion for the stage, daydreaming of being seen by the crowd, a roar from the people led by a standing ovation. A melody flows through your lips with no rhythm. You dance until the floorboards have cracks. A croaked voice only motivated you to sing it louder. I love you and only you. Your creativity stood confident in you. You'd be so proud that I found my style. I'm calling you to come heal with me. Let me laugh at the corny jokes. Give me the courage to stand and talk in front of everyone. learn about our culture with me, and finally understand that you don't have to be one thing all the time. Be everything you want, but don't forget the people who led you, because they are the ones who built the foundation, and now it's time to lay the bricks down. Te amo. Tú puedes hablar español ahora. Tus antepasados están orgullosos. Tú siempre serás puertorriqueña, con tu piel morena y tu pelo rizado. Tú eres la chica más hermosa que conozco. To my younger self, I love you.
Hello, I am a whore, or rather, I dress like one.
And I am a prude, or a nun, or some other variation of the word that implies I'm just like her. Because I have respect for myself. In fact, I have so much respect for myself that I don't even bother going shopping for new clothes, because I know nothing can top my nun outfit.
Well, I already know I'll be objectified either way. Do you like my shoes, by the way? I got them at the mall last week after getting my nails done, so... You know what? Maybe I'll leave that part out. But the bottom line is...
We are both women. Today I took off my nun costume for the first time and decided that maybe I should wear a regular t-shirt and jeans to go to my Christian girl convention.
What happened there, Prude? Did you get your scriptures read?
I got called, well, your name, by some random man on the street.
Oh. Well, did you provoke him?
No.
Did you talk to him?
No.
Your top must have been too tight.
I mean, yeah, maybe you're right.
You can't give them a reason to look at you if you don't want to be looked at. Walk fast, keep your eyes straight,
Don't give them what they want. But don't you give them what they want?
Of course not. This is what I need. I know you don't know because of your fancy headgear and long ugly skirt, but it feels nice to walk around knowing that all eyes are on me. I know for a fact that I'm the most beautiful person they've seen that day. I don't care about the whistles or the stares on my legs or the small touches on my back because I know that I feel good as long as I'm seen. It's good for me.
And do you know what they say about you when you walk away?
Do you?
Of course. I'm no fun.
Or a slut.
Or a weirdo. I'm missing out on what could be.
Before, he told me if I don't want to be called out, then I should cover up.
And when you do, it's time to show more skin, doll.
I guess I should. I'll show everything I can to get you off.
Maybe I'll slip my skin off my bones to keep your eyes on me.
Maybe I like the validation that comes with being touched. I've never been taught anything else. Did he not mean it when he said he loved me?
Of course he didn't. True love is being looked at from afar and told that top would look so much better on my bedroom floor. Then take it off me.
If he takes off my top, he'll see exactly what he imagined.
If he takes off my top, he'll see how much I've been hiding. Either way, he'll love me more. Because I cover up.
Because I show it off.
What exactly does he want more? A prude?
Or a whore.
Seeking validation is a mental hell, but receiving it is worth it. All I need are 3 words to confirm that I'm right, that I'm the one who's more desirable. Just 3 little words to make me feel good.
3 words and he'll show you whatever you haven't seen.
3 words and you'll see what's precious to me.
If you tell me you love me, I'll suck it up. I know only beautiful girls get groped like this. I'll get used to it. Adapt to please.
I was told men don't like girls who show off. So I'll tie my hair up, put a jacket on, cover my large thighs, adapt to please.
I know I have to get on my knees to please and be seen, but what if I don't want to please anymore?
I know I have to be innocent to be held tightly and called clean, but what if I don't want to please anymore?
We don't want to please anymore.
Please don't make us wait. Who's that over there?
He's coming this way.
Of a person. Once whole, now broken in 2. They strayed from home, bathing under the sun's radiant glow, and sung to clusters of weeds under dewdrops of moonlight. They danced to an assembly of daisies, and conquered the tops of trees while they whistled songs, their branches shimmying against the wind. Life was but a canvas, and they painted a rather lonely picture.
What changed?
A man came,
What kind of man? I mean,
a man whose words could manifest dreams, a man who could turn water into wine. But the man wore a mask. He demanded diamond when they only had silver. He was a fox watching the henhouse, a parasite latching onto its host, a bee draining all the nectar while wasting his pollen.
what happened to this man?
Like all men do, he left. He was red and they were blue, and purple simply wasn't enough for him.
What happened to the person?
They were alone again, growing tired of a fractured heart and being submerged in their tears. They took an axe and split themselves in two, right down the middle. We were born anew, once whole, are broken in two.
So we would always have a friend?
So we would always have a friend.
Nobody told me about this part. The part where I spent countless hours scrolling through memories of you, replaying every moment as each frame appears on my screen, grasping onto every smile, every hug, every kiss, every I love you, repeating that one question over and over. What went wrong? Because in my head, our meetings and dates weren't a waste of time. In my head, our affections weren't forced. Our conversations weren't distractions. With every word that fell from your lips, I was there to catch them. I was there to absorb all your emotions, soaking everything like a sponge, never spilling a drop. Nobody tells you about that. Nobody talks about the constant voicemails, phone calls, and text messages I sent. Each word was typed in frustration and desperation. My eyes watered at the sound of your voice when you answered, pleading that you would be my son, that you would answer that phone and do the same. You wouldn't think I was asking too much. But in my head, we could fix this. In my head, this was just another obstacle we could jump over, another scratch we could cover up with a Band-Aid, another fight we could make up with just a kiss, something for us to sweep under the rug and walk over. Yet nobody talks about the times when I wanted to pull up at your house, plotting 99 ways I could make it look like an accident, calculating how many years I would spend behind those bars, trying to figure out which jail sentence was lighter, practicing my defense in front of the judge, knowing he would ask me, do you regret doing it? And I would respond, I don't, because in my head, you deserve every one of those 99 accidents, each one harsher than the other, each one leaves you more broken than before, torn in a pile of pieces in front of me. Because in my head, I will watch you drown in your pain. In my head, I want them to leave you bleeding, bruised, and battered, forced you down on your knees, crawling back to me. Because in my head, I needed to hurt you. Nobody tells you this part of the story.
I mean, I just got here too, so I don't know.
Well, how's the morning going?
Pretty good, I guess. I mean, I missed the bus, and I didn't eat, so just dandy.
Well, I'm sorry your morning's going to. If it makes you feeling good.
And I didn't feel like coming to school today. I mean, I've just been feeling really overwhelmed as of lately, to be honest. And I don't know, school has just been a lot and the assignments just never end and I don't know what to do.
Maybe you should try organizing yourself. It helped me a lot better.
I mean, listen, I've tried that already and I'm not the best at organizing. You know, with me, I'm pretty messy and, you know, I'm not too good at being coordinated. I don't know, but I don't know, school's just been a lot on me and I'm stressed and I'm tired and then I'm sad and it's just all these emotions and I don't know. I don't know.
Students, calm down and please pay attention to the lesson.
Sorry, Mr. Yo, the school food is nasty. Hey, how you doing?
Good. I mean, as good as I can be.
Really? What's wrong?
I haven't been feeling myself lately. I have a headache, and I hate being here, and I hate that I have to wake up and come here every day, and I'm overwhelmed, and that's
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Is there anything I can do to help?
I want to feel better. I don't know.
I can understand that. Just let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
There will. Thank you.
Not gonna lie though, recently I've been feeling.
Oh, wait. Why did I not tell you this? Disregard everything I just said. So there's this guy. There's this guy. And I like him a lot. I like him a lot. And I'm with him and I feel like safe and I talk to him and my problems go away and
Well, I'm happy for you and I'm glad it makes you happy. But what I was saying was.
oh. I gotta go. Sorry, I have to fix this period. I'll see you later. Thank you for listening though.
You're welcome, I guess. Hey sis, I'm home.
Hey.
How was your day?
It was a good, I guess. Nothing though.
Well, let me tell you about my day. My day was.
Actually, it was this one girl, she was doing so much at school, she was getting on my nerves.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna lay down.
Hold on. Hey girl, what's up?
Just gonna lay down anyway.
Kurt, get up right now.
Sorry, Mom. Is there something wrong?
You know I hate when you forget to put the trash out. So why did you forget today? And then you're laying around as if you have nothing to do. You're so lazy.
I'm sorry. I just felt tired.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
They're not excuses.
All I ask is that you at least make me happy by doing what I ask of you. And you can't even do that. You never take my feelings into consideration.
I never consider how she feels. All I consider is how you feel.
considers how everyone feels. But who considers how I feel? What about me? Who tends to my garden if it's unkempt, unattended, left alone, neglected? Who wipes the tears I struggle to let fall from the eyelids that spend hours awake, attentive to the unheard? Who listens to the words associated with my actions, attempting to comprehend the way I feel? Who hears the silent screams from within my heart begging to be released from the distant part of me I've suppressed? Who waits by my bedside ever so patiently, yearning to hear the words I may potentially speak if given the chance? What about me? All I ask is that I be considered. All I ask is that I'm heard, for I fear that in the deepest part of my heart, those emotions shall be lost. And in suppression will be the only thing I take comfort in. Until I have no more, until I am no more. What about me?
Why won't you look at me? I'm trying to get just a millisecond of your attention, but you won't look. I set up just enough mirrors so that everywhere you'd see me, but still you keep your eyes shut. So I guess I should break it. Just like you told me not to. I'm gonna step in all the shards till my feet start to bleed, and I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna scream. But that doesn't get your attention. So I do as I say. I drop the blue patterned bowl. It's one of my favorites too. And I step into its pieces. And my feet are drowned in red. And I begin to weep. And you look. You look right at me. Stop crying. That's all you say. That's all I do. But the pain grows up in my legs. And my hands are still shaking. And my heart is beating as fast as a race car on my pillowcase.
Stop crying. Big boys won't cry. Stop crying. Big boys don't cry. And I don't think that it is true. I don't think that we can fix what we've broken so far. I don't think that we can do this again. All the memories are burned inside. I don't think that it is true. I don't think that you are fine.
You hand me the broom, but that's not what I need. I need a hand to rescue me from the broken pieces, from the pain. And I reach up to hold yours, but you've turned away. So I'm only left holding my own as I cross in oncoming traffic. Mom told me I needed to hold her hand when we walked across the street, but you aren't like my mom. You insist that I'm the big boy and big boys don't need to hold hands. But that's not true.
Big boys don't cry.
Maybe big boys can't cross the street on their own.
Stop crying.
Would you even care if I got run over?
Big boys don't cry.
My still body, bare alone on the road, left with no one but the cold. But my mom always says that people love in their own ways and on their own terms. Though that love doesn't sound much like the love I'd like, it's still warmer than the cold.
And I don't think that it is true. I don't think that we can fix what we've broken so far. I don't think that we can do this again. All the memories are innocent. I don't think that it is true. I don't think that me and you are fine.
Oh, to the house in Manayunk, how you rest upon the small cement hill, intertwined with the other row homes, as you lay right in the middle. Your deep navy door has chips of green oozing out when the sun beams upon you. The Christmas wreath is stuck to you, though the warm air has settled in and the cherry blossoms sway. Each step I take in you brings me back to the first time we met. I was just 10 years old when my feet glided across your creaking wood floors, leaving prickles of wood in my bare feet. You reeked of dust and abandonment as we slammed the cardboard boxes into you, preparing to conquer your space, making it our own. You enveloped yourself around me. Planting a kiss upon my head as the water trickled down my body. But now, will you hold me as we prepare to become your abandoners in the upcoming months? Does your foundation sink further at the thought of being without us, or is it just I sinking from the feeling as if I'm unable to part with you? Are you angry as the cardboard boxes rest against your crimson walls, filling with books and knickknacks? Do you wish we could stop packing when you're awake? As I pick and peel the posters from the sage green walls, placing them into boxes, I feel my heart dive into my stomach, watching you become bare once more. The first time I laid the posters upon you, the winter air had just settled in, and the smell of cookies lingered throughout. Now, I can only smell cardboard and Scotch tape. I attempt to tell you that I pleaded with them to not buy the house in the burbs, but they claim that you cannot contain us like you did 7 years ago. They say that we've caused your endless decay from the yells jerking off our tongues, wrapping themselves around you, stripping your happiness away. I'm told the new house is bigger than you, and that it'll keep us separate, but do they know that no matter how far we stay, we'll manage to tear her apart? just like we did to you? As my hands glide across your uneven floorboards, I ponder why they could not see your beauty like I did. I savored how your cement basement howled when no one stood around, or how you had a glow when we splattered a new color onto your walls. And every time my family and I gathered around your kitchen, letting laughs erupt from our stomachs. But now you have concealed your beauty with anger. As my feet rest against your dark laminate floors, I let my sobs echo out once more, begging for your comfort. As you plant yourself around me, I can't bring myself to let you go. I can't let go. I don't want to let go. I won't let go. Please, don't let me go. But you let me go. You sent me off to the new house to invaded space, just like we did to you 7 years ago. With each step I take closer to your oozing door, I glide my hands across your walls as the memories surge into my mind. Each birthday I spent with you, when my friends and I gathered around your kitchen making pasta, and every time my family and I gathered in your living room to watch movies. So now, as I rest my hand upon your doorknob, I let a tear trickle down once more as I step out from the house in Mannion.
One, two, 3, 4. She was 5 when she started to learn how to count on her tiny fingers, waving them in the air and waiting for someone to hold them. Her tiny hands were left waiting forever, frozen in place. She met her father for the first time with no fear of the places he could touch because she didn't know his hands could touch the body of another child. She was at the age men finally started looking at her as if she were a woman and not a child learning how to count. 6, 7, 8, 9. She was 10 when she started to hear "You'll be a great mother" without the knowing she already was. Caring for her brothers, wishing she could cover her ears because her parents' words towards each other scared her more than anything else. 11. She was 12 when she could officially be labeled the young woman her mother always talked about. It was far too much for her to understand, so she learned to understand the importance of life through the wrongdoings that were blamed on her. Everything she did was judged for happiness, so she couldn't tell her mother that the sight of her brother made her run away because he took after her father. With him, she didn't have to fear the chances of him touching her, but one of the places he'll touch next. 13. She was 14 when she was diagnosed with cancer. Knife against her neck, allowing her to feel the fear of dying for the first time. She was alone, with the beating sound of her heart drowned out by the whispers of nurses that cared for her. 15, 16. She was 17 when the fate and quality of her life were silently placed on her shoulders, aware that too many bad days can be the difference between a complication-free life and an organ failure down the road. When she was sparked the dream of her running away, no place in mind other than the heaven that was promised to her. She was tired of running from the heavy burdens of expectations that her family placed on her. She is 18, wondering when her life would be like the fairy tales with happy endings.
none wiser. Viewed countless men and women stand on opposite sides of the checkered front, a valley reminiscent of the bloodshed, evenly matched, pacing slowly. From one side of war, two mounted soldiers cross the threshold, valiantly covering space, hoods lifting in the mixture of blood and sweat and soil and tears and intellect and egos and a cacophony of war cries escape into the expanse. By the time they reach me, they are whispers. Artillery flying to the north, then south. Be for that, you will see 5 expendable soldiers as their souls, caked in soot, descend from the sky. Graceful destruction finds its home in the soil. The march presses on. What is the cost of a peace for peace? Drawing a sword, poising, striking, repeat. The rigid set of unrest fabricated to carry out man's directive while he cowers. The blanched rain of the simulation which I felt before engaging was teaching me in the most elaborate way to cast shadow upon the ivory pawns. If only this was truly a game. Preparation, confrontation, conditioning. War, where the king fears confrontation. The warriors will rival, kings will cower, queens will not tip, and when it is all said and done, we pick up the pieces and begin anew. What is life to a king and death to the pawn? The answer, we are not gods.
Bubbles, beautifully nostalgic, glistening in that faint light cast from above, a piece of me burns them to life. Fascinating, forgetting the sensation within my chest that grows, pressing me down further into the scorching remains of this broken vessel, beneath the cold pressures of my surroundings. When the bubbles pop, they sting, but when I rest, I cannot see them from down here on earth, beneath this bright sky hunted me or taken, and made into the fleeting being that is a bubble. Am I no longer the child that the bubbles come from? They need me, but do I need them? Adolescent fixation with things that float fuels the ignorance to enjoy the suffering I inflict on myself. Yet I will make more bubbles. But just for a moment, I will bask in this fleeting peace as my bubbles grow and I watch them pop.
I was born a performer. I never meant to string together stars to build spotlights on my shoulders. I only meant to be loved. By the end of the play, by more than elbows on windowsills, staring at still, innocent children, stalking an unattainable dream. A boy like me was never meant to be satisfied by baseball, soccer, merry-go-rounds and round, wringing me dry of wishful memory. Too big to be found by anyone else but beginnings behind computer screens, tearing bitterly, a fatal loneliness in my mouth and the in-between, crying at the applause, the encore, the flowers at my feet. At 11, 100 men had seen me. Action. I was a star. I am a star. Action. Somewhere between alphabet songs and crisscrossing limbs, I looked up from my crib at the lion's man's lips. God gave me a kiss. You need to suffer to use this. Your testimony will save them. God has holy arrows and a bleeding fist, but who will save me? I know not from where the feeling came, the one that stole from me and stole from them stardom and fame. I strode red carpets filled with true love, stained with crimson embraces, hairy bodies and broken gazes, sewed and stitched with I won't tell if you won't, videos of me dancing, men staring on in trench coats. I'm I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I look within them, I'll see myself in 20 years. How long until the victim becomes them? Am I already them? The watching feline behind dark corners of adolescence. No, I can't be action. At 15, 31 men had been with me. I'm a great, beautiful, burning. My golden corona of God-given aura points north, so I tread. Remembering how the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit gave Lucifer a kiss too. So I try to wipe mine away. At 16, 55 men had been with me, but I can't scrub his gift away. And I wonder if it was ever really there. If there is a God. At 17, 61 men had been with me. But I don't know if I'd ever been with any of them. Action! 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 I was never a performer. Not on any stage anyone wants to hear about. I finally looked within that trench coat. A crying boy was inside. He said, "This isn't and has not ever been love." I tried to show him the bruises on my back. The movies they made of me, all the keepsakes and bodily knickknacks. I tell him a star is all I ever wanted to be. But he just hugs me. He just hugs me. I guess I never needed to know all the answers, to just not blame myself.
My secrets to the ghost of a woman who I'd almost lost all memory of. She combs my tangled hair with her fingers, kneeling next to me in my now lukewarm bath as I close my eyes, trying to listen to the words that she's whispering in my ear. She speaks of when I danced without getting sick, and cried without getting my cheeks wet, and when I would stare up at the stars that were no longer attached to the sky but to my wide brown eyes. And she would brush my curls from my roots to my ends and back up again while the moon shined on my dark skin. The candle on the other side of the room burns through my eyelids, and I am forced to look through the open door that leads to my dark hallway. From this angle, it looks empty, but the moon shines through the window just right. So, as I sense the rag with her daisy scented soap on my back, I let the tears slide down my cheeks until I can no longer breathe. Her touch was gentle and focused. Her soft voice rings to my ears as her hands trail through the short curls. And somewhere in between root and end, I realized that I'd forgotten how it feels to be soothed by her nurturing hands. So, as I sense the rag with her daisy-scented soap on my back, I let the tears slide down my cheeks until I can no longer breathe. Her soft voice rings to my ears. A woman who rose from concrete. A woman who somehow became beautiful, resilient, and ever living until her last breath. She was my dandelion because as she aged, as her grades came in, she cocooned into a melody that marinated in my mind. She was my dandelion. But the truth is, even with her grades that make her look like the puffballs that grant wishes, will she ever grant mine? Cause I can't count how many times I wish for her to come back. And when people ask, well, how are you coping? I say I tough it out all day, I laugh with my friends, and I scroll until my eyes hurt. But then, when it's time for bed, I crawl into my blankets pretending they were hers. Pretending that me and Sincere were still small enough to sleep with her again. Then I cry until my pillows are damp, and when I wake, I do it all over again. Mommy, you were my dandelion, but I'm not the same little girl who picks flowers for you just to put a smile on your face. Without you, I've had to become a woman who's afraid. And still, I have pushed myself over the edge of humanity, and I've denied every statistic set against me, and still, I have yet to reach the goals you set so high for me. Whether it's the Muslima you inspired me to be, or the mother for your son you prepared Aine and I to be. Without you, I've had to become a woman who's afraid. And I've pushed myself over the edge of humanity, and I've denied every statistic set against me, and still, I have yet to be the woman you want me to be. I've denied every statistic set against me, and still, I wish I could be the daylily to your dandelion. Then I'd give my fountain of youth to you, because why would I want to last forever if you aren't here? I miss you aren't the words I want to say. Those aren't my feelings. I am not lost, I am not empty, except I am full of the seeds you have left in me, and I am trying to spread your joy to your son and your daughters and all the children you've taken in. I'm trying to expend all of your joy into me, because I know this sadness isn't where you want me to be. My dandelion, my only, my home. I'll turn this blackness into yellows that'll fade into grays. Somehow I'll find a way to face the sun just like you.
So
McCarthy, Richard Nixon, Studebaker, television, it goes on and on. 40 years covered in a song, but Billy Joel released it just a bit too early, didn't he? Missing the 90s, missing low-rise jeans, missing Paris Hilton, and then forward all the memes coming into the 21st century. 22 years later, what hasn't changed? I wasn't around for most of this time, but let's go back, everyone. Let's go back in this country, returning soon enough back to the future, coming in to 2000 CE, where the prophecy of Y2K never saw the light of day, and so we got Windows 2K. Welcome to the 2000s, where Vermont passes House Bill 847 and immediately becomes the state of gay heaven, and the presidential caucuses give us Al Gore and G.W. Bush. And for the sake of time, let's rush to November, where news stations are all aflutter. Election night, tech of the year is counting as fast as it can. The numbers are a bit too close for comfort, and I think we're due for a reminder on how time revolves around like a great big ceiling fan, because tax dollars fueling demands for a recount are not new, but spread them 20 or so years apart, recycle the trope, and turn it into something almost no one thought they knew, and there you have it. Al Gore 2020, make America great again. Does anyone remember the people of the United States v. Gore? Because children today are so desensitized, no one knows the name of the man who was defined by less than 600 votes, about 537 to be exact, but hell, I'm sure you guys all know what bestScore.com means. And Billy Joel says it was always burning since the world's been turning, and the turn of the century comes in a blaze. A hot solar flare in July seems to be the only indicator of a fiery decade, because next thing you know, Gore concedes. Space tourism has planted its seed, and Shrek is in theaters, and somebody once told me the world was gonna roll Andrea Yates into insanity. Poor woman, poor babies. And another plane will crash, but for the day we never forget, and I think all of our days are cold without you, Aaliyah. And her plane hits an island, and just 17 days later, 3 more planes hit entire buildings. Lucky that number 4 hits a field. A burning memory in so many of our hearts. And only a week later, the mailboxes will overflow because anthrax is in the paper. And 01 ends in a bang, and the next few years are overshadowed by a nation in mourning, where no child is left behind, and the pearl of journalism is left as a casualty of the war on terror. The war on terror is still felt by Bush's tirade against Iraq, and the Department of Homeland Security becomes his new brigade. Muslim Americans still feel the terror of war today, looked at strange. Go back to wherever you came from, because the white Americans are afraid of who you are. But experts in the Bush cabinet lied. People died. No weapons of mass destruction were ever in Iraq. Hussein and bin Laden are not the same. But not before standing atop the USS Lincoln, stating, "Mission accomplished. The fire in the hearts of so many Iraqi children." I'm sorry, Mr. Bush. The fire in the hearts of so many terrorists extinguished. And so bin Laden takes his taunt country, his bragging rights at the planes and their slam dunk win into the United States. And MySpace, and of all places, Massachusetts decides that same-sex marriage is just as deserving as those between races. Later overshadowed by 11 bans in 11 states, where same-sex marriage is Sodom and we become submerged in a country of hate, where we're drowning in Katrina, where the lives of thousands, millions are displaced, and a new home, shining beacon, is found in the Superdome, and the cholera outbreak will spread amongst the children who are stuck with filthy water from broken levees because their president left them behind. The costliest natural disaster in economic history, but the countless lives lost still haven't left our minds. And they're still stuck with no homes when Sandy hits 2. President Obama elected on hand to assess the damage, with tears still fresh in his eyes after Sandy Hook. Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, children are dying. Dying by hate. Dying by guns we protect with the Second Amendment in the same Constitution that deems some of us bearing our hearts in love as blasphemous. But soon, state by state, death is undone.
New Hampshire legalizes marriage for all, and Illinois reminds us that texting and driving and cars and phones do not mix. White and brown liquors do not mix. We all know this. And indoors, in public spaces, in bars, white cigarette smoke is illegal amongst the white and brown liquors of North Kakalaki, and this is all before a major earthquake hits Haiti. And millions of dollars is dedicated to its reconstruction, where classrooms are built and hospitals are filled and humans almost know how to be humanitarian. And tragedy seems to again start off a new decade, with SeaWorld proving time and time over that to the sea, nor to the world, nor to the whales are they a friend, shown in the death of a woman at the teeth of a whale under stress. And the death of bin Laden is broadcasted, body buried at the sea, Obama proving that even through loss, the United States will still have its victory, aiming to prevent the country from becoming a terrorist shrine. Do you guys think Obama is surprised at the amount of people proclaiming their love for Dylan Roof online? Because in 2012, according to the Mayans, we would all perish at the end of the calendar. Humanity survives, and just a few years later, life comes apart further, with two girls killing another over a creepypasta, Slender Man, and man, isn't it insane how Bin Laden lies in the ocean? The United States just has to involve themselves again, because after bombs drop in Baghdad, we hear of another group calling themselves IS, or, ISIS, and for lack of better terms, these guys are bad. We lose Robin Williams, the nation's dad, a rest in peace and power to him. And Cosby's crimes come to light, another father whose accusations we all wished so hard to fight. And another journalist writing abroad is left without a head by the hands of the men who wish this entire country dead. But in 2015, it's okay to be gay, no matter what Ron DeSantis says today. And in 2016, credence is given to the Ghostbusters because as of Valentine's Day, we'll all be Ghostbuster. But we're all here today, but ask around about that night in November, elections. Some may say democracy passed on that day, and hate comes forward again, rearing its ugly head, with 4 years of walls wanting to be built around dreamers, dreams being deferred, decisions made to prove that 3/5 of us is still all that matters. But hate's ugly face is unwelcome. It's unwelcome in mine, in yours, and today's safe space. Today's bubble, protected by masks down the street and thumbs on social media, where there's video evidence of every transgression, every microaggression. It's enclosed in quote-unquote sensitivity, because outcry over oppression is the behavior of a snowflake. But aren't snowflakes meant to be cold and different, not one and the same at all? Because today's sheeple, as they're so affectionately called, are waking up. We're waking up to step and stomp and crisscross jump on hate, the new flames of all that has changed in the last 20 years faster than it had ever done before, coming to smudge out all of the industries of hate, where fire on fire is the only time it is going to be used to extinguish everything that is meant to be burning as long as the world keeps turning.
So, I want to start by saying this show was a lot. Bro, when I say we were going through it, there was laughs, there was tears, there was frustration, there was so much that was said in the beginning, but I feel like I have to say it again because all of these amazing people around me did so much. They put in so much work. Whether it's writing people, pieces, moving parts on the set, like just acting or being like an extra inside of the piece. Like these people are all amazing, like truly talented. And for it to sum up the 4 years and all of that, I'm just so proud of you guys. Like this never. And in those 4 years, we had some really, truly amazing people. Starting with freshman year, we had Miss Shin and Mr. Sophomore year, we had Miss Shin again, but we also had Miss Citron. And then last year, our virtual year, which was our junior year, it was not any less important than our years inside of the school, and that is when we had Mr. Corona and Mr. And then the teachers who we didn't have,
All right, so you done?
I want to say Mr. Diff and Miss Har also, like I want to shout out them too.
So I literally just wrote this probably like 5 minutes ago. Anyway, so I'm gonna read what I just said again. So I wrote this in a matter of 2 minutes, and I just wanted to say thank you to one of the most amazing people our class of writers have met. No matter how rocky it started and how much they had to push us to make this day happen, this person has driven us to become better writers and to never give up on ourselves. That if any of us need a home, they'll be at that door with open arms we deserve. And for that, we'll forever be grateful. Sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm trying not to cry. So I just want to say, Cramley, we love you all. We love you dearly. And, well, the flowers is up here already, but it was supposed to be, please accept these flowers in the car. Here you go. We love you, Cramley.
And of course, before we leave, we also have to thank two of the people who also, helped making this whole thing popular. We have to thank Ms. Bird, who is one of our new assistant principals this year. She is our wonderful principal. Yes, Miss Beaver. She's here also. Always, just for being the wonderful assistants they are to everyone here. Thank you guys so much, Ms. Bird and Ms. Beaver.